January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, all the months of the year. Do you know that song? Yeah. You're going to need that song today because in our story, A House for Hermit Crab, the months of the year are on each page. So that is the sequence of this story. All right, and this is what a hermit crab is. A hermit crab is this little creature right here. He's the hermit crab right here. And then this shell is his home, okay? So they will find a shell to live in, kind of like that conch shell that I showed you. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Ugh, that's that one I told you Mr. Zerbil shouldn't have brought home from the ocean, but he did. See, the conch is kind of a little critter like this that hides inside of this shell. That's where his home was. But this hermit crab has like kind of like a curly shell. I don't think I have any like that. Oh, this one's kind of like, well, no, he's not like that either, is he? Yeah. But what they do is they try to find a shell. Oh, here's one. This would be a great one. Look at this kind. Yeah, that's good shell. Yeah, they'd find a little place, a hole, and squeeze in, and that will be just the right size for them. But the problem is they get bigger, and they have to find a bigger shell. And that's what's happening in this story. And if you know Eric Carle, like the very hungry caterpillar and a very grouchy ladybug, then you're going to recognize the photos, the pictures in here. Because Eric Carle is a very famous artist, and you could always tell his pictures, huh? Yeah. All right, A House for Hermit Crab. And watch for the sequence, the months of the year. All right, it says, time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown way too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his little shell, but now it was just too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of his shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was so frightening out there in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. Yeah, so this is January, the first month of the year. And this shell is way too small. You can see it's too small. But being out there in the ocean without any protection would not be very smart for poor little hermit crab. He does have those claws to help him, but definitely not smart to be out there by himself. All right, so let's see. January, what comes next? February. Good. Anybody have a birthday in February? I think we did. In early February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell, and it was strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about and inside to see how it felt. It felt just right, but it looks so, plain, he thought. It does kind of look plain. Look at it. Yeah, he's got to decorate, doesn't he? You know Miss Herbal loves a good decoration party. Yeah, so I would definitely have some decorations. All right, so here he is. He's going to climb inside, but it does kind of look boring. January, February, what comes next? March, and I know some people have birthdays in March in our class. In March, the hermit crab met a sea anemone. They swayed gently back and forth in the water, kind of like a palm tree, right? Don't they look like palm trees? Oh, how beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live by my house? It's so plain, and it definitely needs you. I will come, whispered a sea anemone, a very small one. Gently, the hermit crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. So he's going to live there and decorate. Perfect. So let's see, January, February, March, April, which just passed, April. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving very slowly along the sea floor. Oh, how handsome you are, said the Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claws and put it on his house. So he's going to have a blue starfish. That'll be fancy. April, May, the month that we're in now, May. In May, let me turn it this way. There you go. In May, hermit crab discovered some sea coral. They were hard and sturdy and they didn't move. Oh, how pretty you are, said hermit crab. Would one of you be willing to make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked the crusty old coral. Gingerly, the hermit crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. And remember, a coral is a plant, not a plant, an animal. It looks like a plant. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Here's a piece of a coral. Yeah. It's a live animal, but it really does look more like a seashell or a rock or something, doesn't it? But that would be a nice decoration. So let's see. May, June, my birthday month. And when we get out of school, right? May, June. In June, hermit crab came to a group of snails crawling over some rocks on the ocean floor. They grazed and they went, picking up all the algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat little path behind them. Oh, how tidy and hard-working you are, said the hermit crab. Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. So happily the hermit crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. So now he's going to have a cleaner too, the snails. Here's the snails. Yeah, they are going to clean his shell of all the algae. So let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. In July, the hermit crab came upon several sea urchins. And in our classroom, I have a picture of Mr. Zerbal picking up a sea urchin. They're like pokey. You have to be really gentle and pick those up. Oh, how fierce you look, said the hermit crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? Oh, yes, I would, said a spiky sea urchin. So gracefully, the hermit crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell to protect him, huh? So in July, then comes what? July, August. In August, hermit crab and his friends wandered into a seaweed forest. It's kind of dark in here. It's so dark, thought hermit crab. How dim it is, said the sea anemone. It's so gloomy in here, said the starfish. Oh, it's a nightmare, cried the sea urchin. How are they ever going to see? Oh, you'll be surprised at this one. Watch. Oh, let's see. That was in August, so nothing happened in August. In September, the hermit crab spotted some lanternfish. Look at these lanternfish. They live in that deep, dark water. They were darting through the dark water. Oh, how bright you are, said the hermit crab. Would one of you be willing to light up our house? I would, said the lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. And did you notice anything? Look how crowded it's getting. And poor hermit crab looks like he's getting bigger and bigger. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Halloween time. Anybody have a birthday in October? Let's see what October says. In October, hermit crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. Ooh, how sturdy you are. Would one of you mind if I rearranged you? She's just going to move them over. Let's see. Not at all, answered the pebbles. So hermit crab picked them all up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. Now my house is perfect, cheered the hermit crab. So he has all those beautiful decorations, but now he also has a little protection wall around his shell. But in November, hermit crab felt his shell was seeming a little bit too, small. Little by little over the year, hermit crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another place, a bigger home. But he had come to love his friends so much. He loved the sea anemone and the starfish, the coral and the sea urchin, the snail and the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. They have all been so good to me, said hermit crab. They are like a family. How can I ever leave them? Uh-oh. Now, it's been a whole year, so he's getting kind of squished. He's growing. In December, look how crowded he is. In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. I have outgrown my shell too, she said. Would you know of a place for me? I have outgrown my house too, answered Hermit Crab. I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to take care of all my friends and be good to them. I promise, said the little hermit crab. Oh, so that's a good solution. The big hermit crab can find another shell, and this little guy, if he promises to take care, he can have this pretty shell. That's a good bargain. So let's see, it's December, Christmas time. In December, it starts the whole new year in January. It's over a year now in January. Look how big he is. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. Couldn't stay in that shell forever, said Hermit Crab and waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied a perfect house. It was a big open shell and an empty shell, and it looked, well, it kind of looked a little plain. Uh-oh. Maybe sponges, he thought. Barnacles. Maybe a clownfish. Maybe a sand dollar. Oh, how about some electric eels? Oh, there's so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. So he's going to decorate it, this one too, with other stuff. There you go. So that's the end of the hermit crab story. Did you like that one? Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to get some of that striped paper that I gave you a while back because I forgot to copy the paper. So I want you to find this little guy. He's not so little, I guess. And I want you to decorate it and put some sea creatures. We've learned about a lot of sea creatures. Put some sea creatures on his shell, just like in the story. And then I want you to write about it. Now, let's pretend you pick your birthday month. Maybe I pick June because my birthday's in June. I want to write, in June, the hermit crab found, and then I'm going to draw what I found, and then I'm going to write it. So my story would sound like this. In June, hermit crab found an eel, and then I would draw an eel on my shell. Maybe your birthday's in April. You could say, in April, hermit crab found a starfish. And then I want you to draw a starfish. It's your story, but I want you to draw your object on the shell, color it, cut it out. You can put it on your seaweed if you want. But I want you to write a sentence or two about the hermit crab and what month it would be that he finds the creature. Does that make sense? And if you need some help, ask your family to help you. But you're going to pick a month and tell me what the hermit crab would find. Okay? Just like in the story. You can be the new Eric Carle. Yeah. All right. And you know what to do. Keep learning.